Good morning. Okay, so I wanted to start with showing here, talking about yesterday and what happened yesterday. If I could show my screen, that would be great. Now I lost it. Hold on one second. Why did I lose my screen here? Okay, here we go. All right, so yesterday we started the day here, and I said that if we go into this area, 7480, that I was looking for sellers, and I was looking for a look above this high. I'm failing, and then see if we could do one of those value area sweep through these ranges, right? So I wanted to show you a little bit how I was looking at this. See if I can show the screen. So I'm gonna do a replay of what I was looking at. If my charts allow me. I don't know why. Oh, there you go. So this is playing pretty fast, but I want to show you. I was watching this, and right from the open we saw strong buyers and strong order flow. We got through this. This is the area that I was looking at, which was that resistance area. And originally, when I saw this action, I thought, well, I think this is pretty strong. I think we might just keep going, right? Because it was super strong. But eventually, we found the sellers that we were looking for, and we had that look above and fell, right? We failed to hold above that previous day's high. And that was my first signal, right? Here's B period, right? We did see a little bit of a bounce at the overnight high initially, but every time we kept moving higher, we kept finding sellers. Eventually got through the open, at which point I was like, okay, let's see what the reaction is at value here, previous value here. There was barely any reaction. So sellers, kept pushing, got to that first target that I was looking at the pivot, but we didn't have much of a bounce. Then we put some volume here right around that point of control, and then started bouncing. So I said, okay, well, maybe we'll start establishing a range here, but every time we were seeing some buying, then we would find more sellers. So now this is C period. So we had the IB was here. So I said, okay, well, if we break the IB, usually my first target is I'm looking for references below, but if as long as we hold below the IB low, I thought, okay, well, we'll probably hit that 50% extension. So I was watching that IB low, and then when it broke, there you go. Then it broke. We tested below the previous day's low, so we already completed the value area sweep, and then we just kept pushing harder and harder. We hit that IB 50% pretty hard, and then we bounced right at that Friday's close, right there at 68. So I said, okay, well, a good target, but it's not a pretty strong low, right? Because it's right at that reference. So in my initial, I want to show you. I want to pause this really quick because I want to show you what I posted on the Discord. I had this drawing, right? And I said I was looking for, okay, if we do get through the range, I'm looking at these two lows right here, the previous week's low, which also was very close to this low right here. So I said if we break this low, there's a possibility that we bounce and then we come back into value and then stay in this range. So, but then what happened was, sorry, I'm trying to move this screen here. So then at that point I was looking at this area. And then from here I had a few more targets that were the PBTs, I call them. It's not my term, but projected balance targets. I had some from back in April all the way down below. I did have that initial, one of my scenarios was look below and then fell to hold below those 2 weeks. But then if we hold below these two lows, I was looking for a gap fill at 73.04. So then here we break this pretty strong flow, and then we barely saw any reaction here. We just kept going and going and going, selling kept pushing. So I said, okay, at this point we're probably gonna fill the gap. We did see some absorption here, pretty big absorption. I said, okay, well, there's a chance we bounce here and then we don't fill the gap. So I was watching this area. I said, if we go above this area, I might look for longs, but then look how quickly we keep selling. So I said, okay, well, if we get below this, we're gonna fill the gap. So finally, we did get below this area. This is it was happening pretty fast. So I was watching volatility, and volatility, as long as it kept moving higher and I didn't see any big drop in volatility, I thought, we're still one time framing down. Sellers are pretty aggressive. We're probably gonna fill the gap, and then here we'll fill the gap. And then I had some more references below. We had this untested point of control. We had April's high here. We had another PBT here at 72.47 from back in April. If you watch my videos in April, you'll probably see it marked there. Then here we fill the gap. Also, still not much of a bounce. And then we had the 50 daily moving average at around 72 something, 72.30. I think it was right around here. But yeah, we did get a little bit bounce here, but you see how quickly we could see sellers still pushing. Anyway, we ended up testing this PBT almost to the tick, that 72.47. And then at that point, we did see a V-shaped reversal. At that point, I was not on by my desk, but look at this. We hit it, and then we saw some buyers there. If you're watching volatility, it was probably started reversing at that point. And then we got a pretty strong reversal eventually, which put us all the way back into this area. I think we got all the way to the 80s, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna check now, but anyway, I just wanted to show that because it's sometimes in days like this, if you're a new trader, it's hard to follow the price action because you're thinking, oh, it's gotta bounce, but and then it keeps moving down. So I'm maybe explaining this and how I saw the auction and the references that we were looking at, how maybe that helps get an idea of how to look at price. But anyway, for today, I'm still looking at this replay here. Hold on, give me 1 second. Okay. Alright, this is taking a little bit to load, but so now for today, what I'm looking at is first of all, we are trading now inside yesterday's value. So inside value, it's gonna be a little choppy. Why can't I see my TPO chart? Sorry, my okay, here we go. So we are okay, we just saw some numbers and this thing is going crazy right now. So we're trading inside yesterday's value. So we have this big magnet. One is a 74.20 and the other one is a 71.60. So right now we're kind of in the middle, and we can see a move, up here. Again, did I lose my screen again? Okay. We can see a move up here, or we can see a move down here to the 71.60 today. So now we're in between both. So what I'll be, first of all, all these PVTs can be taken out of here. We hit all of this. This weekly low, it's not relevant anymore. So I want to see how traders treat yesterday's value. So above yesterday's value, which is up here at 04, then obviously targets 74.20. If we get below yesterday's low and yesterday's value area low, I'm going to be looking for a move to this area, which is, we have some single prints, we have some untested point of control, but then eventually the magnet is going to be here at 71.60. Remember when we went through all this, we kept leaving a lot of poor structure, and now all that is being cleaned up and repaired. We still have another gap here. We have the yearly VWAP around 7,000, and we have a gap still down here. We have single print, we have the 200 moving average, a lot of references below, and also we have contract rollover. So this contract is going to roll over next week. So now we're going to start seeing probably a lot of flow related to that. Also we have the SpaceX IPO on Friday, so this is all amplifying the volatility that we're seeing probably. So looking at what happened just now after this CPI news, I'm looking at this double distribution from the overnight session. I'll probably use this low volume node as my line above and below. So if we stay above this low volume node, which coincides with this low from yesterday, from this period, whatever that is. So as long as we stay below, above that, I'm gonna be looking for a move towards that 74.20. If we stay below it, I'm gonna look for that overnight low and then value area low, and then see if we hold value area low. If we get below it, then if that's the case, a move towards the low from yesterday, and then 72.30, that's target below, and then 71.60 my main longer term target. All right, that's about it. I hope that the video was helpful today. Good luck.